Yo, what's up? My name's Retro Pat, and welcome back to another retro game review / breakdown. Now, I know it may seem a little funny to call Bulletstorm a retro game, but it's in this weird middle ground area where it's 11 years old now. So it's aged, but not quite retro. The Xbox 360 first released in 2005, and I think it's time to start moving the grain and maybe start thinking about that console as a bit retro. Maybe past gen is a better word. Maybe I'm just deluding myself into qualifying this game as a retro game, so I feel like it fits the theme of this channel. Anywho, let's go ahead and jump into the breakdown. And remember that if you like today's content, you should let me know by liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more videos like it. Or dislike it and leave me a loud comment on why you think I'm stinky and wrong. You have the freedom to do either of these options. Bulletstorm is a game that I played for around 30 minutes as a kid, and then my teenage brain needed to go back to playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, where I would have a brain aneurysm. So it's safe to say I never gave the game a fair chance, until I recently picked up an Xbox 360 again over 10 years later. And luckily, I still had the game lying around among the shattered remains of my previous collection. And I have to say that I thoroughly loved my experience playing through the entirety of this game. I don't think there was a single time throughout my entire playthrough of the main storyline where the combat felt repetitive, the storyline felt dry, or the dialogue got on my nerves.
Go fuck yourself! You shitpiles give chase, I will kill your dicks!
What? What does that even mean? You're gonna kill my dick? Well, I'll kill your dick! How about that, huh?
Speaking of dick-killing parties.
The dialogue in this game is stupidly genius. It's dumb and brutish, and I love it. Bulletstorm was made in this hazy middle ground area of making fun of big dumb shooters like Duke Nukem and Doom and poking fun at their stereotypes to an extreme while also placing themselves as a staple entry in that exact genre.
Holy shit! That was damn close! Need to get some pads for my ass. Old gal wasn't built for that much abuse.
I'm not interested in quantifying how much abuse your ass is built for.
The story is surprisingly dramatic. Nothing revolutionary as far as storytelling goes, but beautifully executed. The main villain isn't exactly hiding the fact that he's the representation of pure evil, but it works. The entire cast of characters is so charming, and you just end up falling in love with the characters, the gameplay, and the planet's atmosphere that you've crash landed on. It all blends together, and you fall in love with the game that is Bulletstorm. Now, there will be a spoiler warning coming up here in a quick sec, but before that, I want to explain why it might be okay for you to watch the spoilers anyway because of my intentions behind the creation of this video. I will just be explaining about the first 15 minutes or so of the game's story. It really shouldn't hurt your experience too much if you watch this without having played the game, because the game is just going to lay out all of this information for you very soon into your playthrough. But the point of this video is to entice others to want to play this underappreciated masterpiece, while hopefully entertaining the already loving cult fanbase. I still wanted to include this spoiler warning here for those people who wanted a totally clean slate during their playing experience. So without further ado, here is your spoiler warning. Please stop watching here if you want to play through the game with an entire clean slate. But once again, in my personal opinion, I really don't think this will be hurting your mentality heading into the game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the first 15 minutes. The game opens up from a first-person perspective, you controlling the main character of the game, Grayson Hunt, torturing and threatening his attempted assassin while casually downing excess amounts of alcohol.
Here, have another drink, Gray. It'll help your aim.
Please!
Grayson, or Gray as you'll soon learn to call him, then sends the assassin out of the airlock of the spaceship because he was pissed that his bounty was too low for him at $500 million.
Airlock safety released.
Hey, third bounty hunter this week. Serrano was stroking one hell of a murder boner, man.
Just a gritty and edgy yet comedic way to perfectly introduce our main character. Part of the genius of Bulletstorm is that it never takes itself too seriously. It's meant to be this over-the-top, stupid, ironic, big dumb gun shooter with obnoxious, alcoholic, and insane behavior. The main characters are just a group of fuck-ups who got wronged and are just trying to survive, and it makes you root for them. Everyone loves an underdog. I know I just mentioned how Bulletstorm never takes itself too seriously, but I also want to talk about the tone shift and how well it executes it. Bulletstorm is a drama comedy. Now, if you've ever seen a drama comedy in other forms of media, like movies or television, you know it's one of the hardest things to pull off well in media. It's either too funny or too dramatic, and then they subtract from the quality of the other. The two best examples of a perfect drama comedies, in my opinion, are BoJack Horseman, a brilliant cartoon comedy with incredible voice acting from the incomparable Will Arnett, and Barry on HBO, which is written and directed and acted by Bill Hader, and I can confidently say that this is the best TV show that I've ever watched. The thing that both of these shows in Bulletstorm have in common is that the main character is a fuck-up, and it makes you want to root for them to improve and invest yourself in their journey. And their journey will not be a hero's journey. They will continue to fuck up their journey throughout. And this is what makes you care for them. It's what makes you empathize, because it's realistic. No road to recovery in life happens easily. You will fall, and all you can do is get back up, or you'll fall deeper. And having the courage to get back up isn't always easy. Grayson Hunt, BoJack Horseman, and Barry Berkman all repeatedly fall deeper and deeper at times, but they are never too deep to get back up, and that is a beautifully uplifting message amidst a very tragic tale. Something we can all relate to, and something we can look for as motivation when we feel too deep. Alright, now shifting gears back to Bulletstorm. I said all of this to prepare you for the dramatic scene in which Gray descends into his madness for revenge as he plunges his own ship into General Serrano's and attempts to drag him to hell alongside himself and his crew.
We were all dead men anyway. Dead for years now. Just needed to do this one last thing. Just had to make sure we didn't go to hell alone. General, I'm gonna take you. Take every motherfucking last one of you with us. And a sudden plunge in the sullen swell. 10 fathoms deep. On the road to hell.
This dramatic clip is then followed by a flashback explaining why Gray is so hell-bent on his path to revenge. You and your squadron are part of the military, working under General Serrano in this flashback. Your job is to assassinate Bryce Novak. You end up finding out that General Serrano is a disgustingly corrupt, blatant monster, and he's not afraid to hide it.
When's the pickup?
Don't sweat it, boss. We're on schedule.
Hey! What the fuck? I told you to rig these to blow, not check your goddamn email. What are you doing on here? What am I looking at?
Every hit we've done, we've been killing innocent people. Novak was a reporter, just finished an article on Serrano's corruption.
Get Serrano on the line. General Serrano, I have a...
What the fuck you calling me for, ass maggot? Are you calling me from the job site?
Answer me a question. These people... Have you had us killing innocent civilians?
What in the name of sweet Mary Mother of Christmas did you think you were doing out there all this time? You namby-pamby cocksucks are Confederate sanctioned assassins!
You told us the targets were gun runners, slave traders, mass murderers.
Yeah, I lied. So what?
Who did we just kill? Novak.
Held incriminating evidence against you, sloppy shitheads. You killed him to cover up what you do.
And what exactly do we do?
You serve proudly at the pleasure of a general of this confederation that you love with such a fervor you would gleefully sacrifice your maggot dickless lives on my say-so to keep her safe, your commanders happy, and your government's sovereignty strong. Now, you festering assholes! Either make with one sweet and sloppy apology, or I will fuck up your lives!
I am gonna kill you!
Hey, man! What the fuck?
It's honestly quite a powerful scene, and you feel rightfully enraged even after only knowing the group for one prior level and sequence of cutscenes. And this is because the stage was set so well, and the voice acting is top notch. Steve Blum absolutely nails Grayson Hunt. You might also know Steve Blum from his performances as Orochimaru from Naruto, Spike, the lead character in Cowboy Bebop, or Mugen in Samurai Champloo, alongside so many other voice acting accolades. He's just one of the best to ever do it, and it really lends well to Bulletstorm's angsty, troubled protagonist. Now, I'm going to stop talking about Bulletstorm's story here, and there are a lot of more incredibly dramatic and awesome comedic moments that I'm leaving untouched so that you can discover them for yourself. And I encourage you to play this game. You can get Bulletstorm used for under $10 on PS3 and Xbox 360, and then the remake on Xbox One and PS4 is also around $10 to $12 on eStarland.com. An absolute bargain for such an underrated classic. Now, if you don't have one of those consoles or still don't want to shell out the $10 or so for a copy of the game, if this video does get enough support, I'll consider doing a full recap of the game's story and gameplay level by level, breaking down every bit. Now that ends the storyline spoiler section of the video. Let's go ahead and move on to combat. Bulletstorm at its core is a melee-based shooter with 8 different guns and slow-motion mechanics. When you kick an enemy away with your melee attack or pull them close to you, utilizing the most important combat mechanic in the entire game, the leash. Having the ability to pull, kick, or pull and kick your opponents alongside the 8 gun options immediately makes you realize how many combat combos are possible. The game gives you a list of fun and surprisingly difficult combos to aim for. For example, shoot an enemy in the balls and then kick or shoot their head off, or kill an enemy by guiding a sniper bullet into their balls. Once again, we remember how big, dumb, and stupid this game is with all of the ball references in these skill shot goals. And how could we forget the classic, kill an enemy by shooting them in their ass. Truly poetic game design. Now on a serious note, my favorite skill shot in this game was probably to explode 2 or more airborne enemies using a single slow motion guided sniper bullet. This was actually a very convoluted challenge. The best way that I found to complete this challenge was to use the upgraded leash effect to bounce everyone in an AoE sky high, and then quickly switch to your sniper rifle and fire off your slow motion shot. This was such a satisfying challenge to finally pull off. Completing these challenges earns you points, which you use to purchase ammo and upgrades for your guns, and all upgrades unlock a new set of challenges or trick shots. All upgrades are attachments and add an entire new mechanic to your gun. They aren't just statistical stat sticks. You don't just gain more damage. You gain an incinerating shotgun on the side of your rifle for close quarters annihilation. The upgrades are almost like entirely different guns and add even more combat and gameplay depth. The pacing in which the game gives you these guns alongside their attachments will be crucial to keep combat interesting and exciting. You never want to be in a position where you have completed all of the combo achievements and are bored just waiting for the next gun/attachment upgrade. And thankfully, this never even comes close to happening because the pacing is executed perfectly. You're always left with 1 to 3 combos you still need to achieve when you acquire a new gun out of the 10 or so you started with, which leaves you feeling quite satisfied, but still excited enough to move on to the next gun. Now, if you're a completionist like myself, have no fear, because you will feel encouraged to bring out these guns later in the game to earn those achievements you might have missed. But it will take a truly skilled player to achieve all of them before the end of the game. I can say I thoroughly tried and failed. Maybe on my next playthrough, I'll finally be good enough. And I do want to play this game again, very, very soon, because of this. I'm still not sick of the combat, and it's still refreshing, exciting, and enjoyable. My personal favorite weapon throughout the playthrough ended up being the shotgun, due to its combination with the slide. The slide mechanic feels so good in this game. Nothing feels cooler than sliding into a sea of enemies, knocking back one with your slide, blasting another with your shotgun, and then leashing another and blasting them after finishing your slide. I also want to quickly note here how powerful the neon numbers popping up on screen makes you feel after defeating a wave of enemies with an explosive move. It's addictive, and it makes you want to keep seeing those numbers go burr. Humans love statistical progress inherently, and this game manages to give you that feeling in a shooter amidst battle in real time. The only main negative point I want to make about Bulletstorm's combat has to do with the movement, or lack thereof, weirdly enough. Even though you adapt to it very quickly, and no one would ever describe Bulletstorm as a game with slow or little movement, the game does lack a jump button. It's very similar to Gears of War in terms of holding down the A button to sprint and then simply pressing the A button on certain objects that specifically allow you to vault over them. I can only imagine if Bulletstorm had a jump button, it might just have broken the game. Combat might have been too free, and players might have been able to break boss fights or escape stages. I assume the devs just didn't have the time or resources to properly incorporate a free-to-use jump button, but even without the jump button, the game's movement truly never feels restricted. The slide really makes up for it in a big way, but I can't help but wonder. What if we had both the slide and a free-use jump button? What a game that would create.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Alright, but I'm going to refrain from talking too much about all of the combat combos because the point of this video is to give you guys a taste of Bulletstorm and give you a reason to care about it and go try it out for yourself. Now, moving on to the epic boss fights or just the overtop scenes in general. The one that immediately comes to mind is the wheel.
Our next appointment's arrived. You up for the fight?
I will kill them all. For Doc. For Rel.
Nice to have you back, Ishii.
The wheel is also the first real big danger scene we see, and it's absolutely nerve-wracking. The wheel is not one of those dangerous seeming, but you're actually 100% safe, quick time events that are a glorified cutscene. You actually have to actively spin your camera around to see the upcoming explosive barrels to throw the wheel off track, and you need to fire a surprising amount of bullets to actually make them explode to stay safe. If you start firing too late, you're gonna get smushed. You have to do all of this while the helicopters are firing at you from the skies, and mechanical worms chase and dig at you underground, which will one-shot you if they reach your ship. And similar to the barrels, you have to address the worms quickly and put enough bullets into them to make them explode. All of this combines to make a truly fast-paced, feeling hectic, insane, and exciting experience. Bulletstorm delivers on those epic moments, and even if, hypothetically, the rest of the game was terrible, I still think it would be worth the $10 it costs to buy a physical copy just to play through those epic scenes. Now, I know I keep saying these epic scenes and implying multiple while only giving one example, but I don't want to give away too much. These moments should be left to be discovered. I will, however, leave you with this clip teasing the Hecaton.
What exactly are we looking at here?
We're looking at a nest.
Bulletstorm is a perfect 10 out of 10 game, in my opinion. And by leaving you with the exciting stuff, maybe that will drive some of you out there to go play this beautiful game. Or maybe, once again, if this video does get enough support, like I mentioned earlier, I'll do a full breakdown of Bulletstorm. But for now, I want to say thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed today's content, you can let me know by liking the video. If you dislike the content, let me know by disliking the video. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel for hopefully weekly uploads at some point, but for now, it's whenever I have the spare time. I hope you guys have a great day and get to play some really cool games today. I'll see you later.